This podcast is brought to you by AudioHook, the leading independent audio DSP. AudioHook has direct publisher integrations into all major podcast and streaming radio platforms, providing 40% more inventory than what could be accessed in omnichannel DSPs. What's more, AudioBook has full transcripts on more than 90% of all podcast inventory, enabling advanced contextual targeting and brand suitability. AudioHook is so confident that in addition to CPM buys, they offer the industry's only pay-for-performance option where brands can scale audio and podcasting with peace of mind knowing they are only paying for outcomes. Visit audiohook.com to learn more. That's audiohook.com. All right, welcome to Marketecture's Justify Your Existence, where we have in-depth interviews with tech executives to find out what they're actually doing. Justify Your Existence is for smaller companies, so we're here today with Dan Goikman, who's the CEO, and Krish Arvapalli, who is the CTO of Dappier. Rhymes with happier, I've been told. Dan and Krish, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ari. Appreciate you having us on.
Sure. So what do you do?
So at Dappier, we view our role as monetizing the shift that's happening from pages to agents. We help media companies, brands, websites ultimately get their content into a format that AI companies can interact with, help them monetize that transaction, and basically launch AI agents across their owned and operated sites and every consumer channel. So we think that there's a pretty interesting shift that's underway in terms of how consumers interact and discover content. And we think that there's a lot of folks out there that need help in navigating that shift and this kind of new blue ocean of AI opportunity.
And is this a real opportunity right now where there's somewhere you can deploy these agents, or are you building ahead of potential infrastructure changes?
Yeah, great question. So we structured our business to deal with the real opportunity right now is to help folks that have audience actually deploy agents to their owned and operated properties, where they can monetize through the existing revenue supply chain of the internet, dip their toe into the kind of world of AI agents, and also bring kind of consumers the experiences they're starting to enjoy across other consumer apps when they interact with things like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon that are all introducing Copilot-like experiences. So we give media companies the tools to deploy those on their sites, monetize them in various surfaces. So in search, in article, dedicated answer pages, and basically allow them to compete at parity with AI experiences, monetized largely with advertising. And we also see really cool use cases coming to market they could take advantage of today. For instance, launching their AI agent behind their X account, right? Or in their WhatsApp and Telegram. So we think brands, media companies should be able to talk to their consumers wherever they are, in a single voice. And I think that's one of the key promises of what AI agents can do for them.
So right now, so you have the website, maybe the easiest thing to understand. Lots of folks helping brands create agents for their websites, for customer service, for upsells, things like that. I assume that's part of your offering. But then you mentioned X. So how would a brand use your technology in conjunction with a platform that like X or Instagram?
Yeah. So essentially, essentially on the other side of their X account is their AI agent. So essentially you can tag your account and it'll interact with you. So you can have those conversations. The brand could be tweeting, so to speak, because I don't know what the nomenclature is for X posts, but tweeting, so to speak, on your behalf, and then interacting with customers. The same thing can happen, on a WhatsApp or Twitter channel. And then as far as the actual website deployments go, I think there's a lot of folks working on customer service kinds of deployments. We're specifically focused on content discovery and monetization in those spaces. So our agents are context aware. They help you kind of ask follow-up questions that both either help you navigate the article or page you're reading or augment it with other data and kind of provide a richer user experience. Chris,
I just wanted to add a few thoughts there. It's whether it is behind an X or on a page, the agents can take it a step further. So they can push them to some subscribe to a newsletter or schedule a demo or kind of have a conversation really. And so those interaction types that are a little bit more and, a little more kind of, engaging is kind of what an agent can do automatically. So we do that for brands. We do that for anyone with a website really.
Do consumers know they're speaking to an AI?
Yes, I mean, they typically do, because they're, they know that we market, like, for example, we market as Ask, a brand, right? Yeah. So for example, we work with mom.com, which is one of our publishers, websites. This is Ask Mom, right? It says an assistant, for anything parenting, right? And we also kind of, like Dan said, the agent, answers any parenting questions and things like that. That's on their website. It learns the content, it learns the knowledge that they have, and it actually pushes them to do something with it, right? In addition to that.
What's the corpus that it trains on?
Really, I mean, it could be, so, we have customers coming in with, RSS feeds, MRSS feeds, PDFs, documents, they could be ebooks, publishing content. It could be other, any kind of analytical information that you want the agent to be trained on. But that's typically what we use as our data pipeline.
What's the size and age of your company? How many employees? What sort of funding have you done?
Yeah, so the company's just under 2 years old. So yeah, about 18 months old. 7 full-time people. We've raised just under $2 million in capital to date.
Nice. Do you have any customer success stories you're willing to share?
Yeah, I mean, so we're kind of, again, we're just kind of starting with some of these exciting deployments, but Krish mentioned mom.com. We're live with news publishers like 9 and 10 News in Michigan, all of the Morgan Murphy media properties around the country. And we're just kind of scaling up. So we're excited about these kind of various use cases. But dozens of media brands launching in the coming days and weeks, and starting to kind of bring these new interactions to market. And I think just one thing to circle back to, right? I think the reason we built the solution the way we have is that there is a lot of opportunity today with the audience where it is today and the ability to deploy these agents to consumer services we all understand. At the same time, I want to really make sure we highlight this. Our thinking is that, there is tech infrastructure that's being built and needs to be able to access this content with a sustainable business model behind it. And so we're playing the long game here of both providing the infrastructure to serve consumers today and thinking about how content gets monetized, distributed, discovered in the future.
All right, let's do a quick lightning round. So quick questions, quick answers. What's your number one competitive advantage?
Our number one competitive advantage is we've built the kind of the full stack solution with monetization. So there's a lot of folks that are building RAG and helping folks build agents. Our idea is we want to help you build them, distribute them, and monetize them. And doing that end to end, we think is pretty important.
I'm sorry, that just brings up a question. I forgot to ask the business model. So how do your publishers pay you, or how do you pay them?
Yeah, so we do everything on a revenue share usage basis. So essentially, if those agents are monetized, we work on a rev share basis with publishers. If they just want to use our kind of tech infrastructure, there's a usage fee that is volume based.
Great. And then next lightning round question. So why won't the big guys, the Amazons, Googles, Facebook, just do this and crush you?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think this industry is getting, like all kind of new content distribution mediums, becomes really, really complex and multifaceted. And typically, when the distribution complexity scales, you want a partner that can handle your content distribution, management, monetization. Think about it like content management system for distribution into the AI ecosystem. From a single place. So any one of those players can do one thing well for themselves. You need to think about this from we think about AI as a new distribution paradigm overall, and you need to think about the rails to manage and monetize that.
Yeah. I did want to answer that real quick. So we also have we recently launched the Dappier MCP server, which is becoming the rails of content distribution into AI. So effectively that allows us to be behind any ecosystem, whether it's the OpenAI ecosystem or the Anthropic ecosystem. They all need content and data coming out of the Dappier network. so our MCP server is kind of the pathway to that.
Probably most people listening to this have no idea what you're talking about. Can you give a really, really, really simple example of why that's useful?
Yeah, I mean, so anyone that's building an agent, right, in the agentic universe or an LLM that wants to access data outside, right?
Okay, hold on. I'm interrupting you right here.
Yeah.
Dan, take over, please. Give me a really, really, really simple example of why this matters.
Yeah, basically agents have data that they're trained on. LLMs have data that they're trained on, but they are not current and up to date. If you want to inject net new data that's relevant, current, timely into that answer, you need to connect to a third-party source. MCP is a standard that's being available so that any data source can talk to any LLM.
Okay, thanks. Sorry to interrupt you, Krish, but I need to dumb down for me.
Like, what I was saying was crazy, and Krish practiced simplifying that before the call.
I know. Yeah, I get to be a little bit too technical, but yeah.
Yeah. Last question: if Dappier was a animal, what animal would it be?
Dappier was an animal. What animal would it be? Oh man.
That's a good question.
We ask that obviously you don't listen to my podcast because we ask that of everybody.
Oh, that's a great question. Let's call it I don't know. I'm trying to know that. Let's call it a horse.
Yeah, I was going to say a horse too. So there we go.
Okay, we'll take horse. All right, Dan and Krish, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Marketecture Podcast. New episodes come out every Friday, and an insightful vendor interview is published each Monday. You can subscribe to our library of hundreds of executive interviews at marketecture.tv. You can also sign up for free for our weekly newsletter with my original strategic insights on the week's news at news.marketecture.tv. And if you're feeling social, we operate a vibrant Slack community that you can apply to join at adtechgod.com.